Good morning and welcome to the Wallet to Wealth Female Entrepreneur Series. I'm Whitney Hammond, and in support of Halton Women's Place, From Wallet to Wealth is a brand created to speak to women to empower, educate, and inspire them to leading better lives. We'll be rolling out our 2021 sessions. So we'll talk about that later, but just wanted to let you know that our first workshop will be a hands-on, bring your laptop, and we're actually going to create our own messaging for our social media or for our own business. So I'll give information about that later. For those of you who missed our annual Wallet to Wealth Gala, we had 5 main stage speakers and we had 6 other speakers. So we had 11 speakers where we raised almost $33,000 for Halton Women's Place. So that was great. And that runs every November. November is Women's Abuse Prevention Month. And we started this fundraiser 2 years ago. So we've had 2 galas, and then every year we have 6 workshops. Right now we're working virtually, and it works very well. So, so we broke through our ceiling, our ceiling of complexity, and doubled what we did in donations last year. So not only do we help women win, we raised all that money for Halton Women's Place. So join our squad. We are all about success and breaking through barriers. We look for the ceiling and we break through it. So speaking about breaking through ceilings, today we have self-branded Carolyn Dickinson, who is a global executive coach and a highly sought after speaker. She is the founder of the Life Success Board system. So I'm very excited to welcome Carolyn here today. Hello.
Hi, how's everyone doing?
Awesome. So I'm just going to check to make sure, just with my social media here. Okay, so we'll just get started. So I'm really happy to have you here today. And so recently we've been talking about messages that we have from the past. We all have them, whether they're intergenerational messages within our family or whether they're messages from society, but they tend to give us limiting beliefs. And some of us break through those limiting beliefs and some of us don't, we get stuck. So can you share with us how that's been in your life?
Absolutely. And thank you, Whitney, for having me today. And by the way, congratulations on your success with your event. That's absolutely phenomenal. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
To get right into the question. So, the reality is that life happens in a very interesting way, and we don't always get to control how it goes, but we can control how we handle it. So for me, things that were very difficult as a child was at 51 years old, when I was a child, I was diagnosed with dyslexia, which is something my father had. But at his age, they didn't understand that stuff. And even at my age, when I was in high school and grade school, they really didn't understand learning challenges. And so for me, I got so much negative impact from it. It definitely swayed me to believing I was never enough. So I was, I heard negativity from teachers. My parents really didn't know what to do with me because no one really understood learning challenges at that time. So it really was challenging for me. I felt like I couldn't do anything right. I felt like nobody understood what was going on with me. And, over time, you learn a lot and things change in your world. But I kind of, after high school, given up. I thought, that's it, I'm done. I even had a teacher tell me at one point in time I was a waste of space. And that was, luckily I was a tough girl. I don't know what it was. I tell people ask me, what was it? I said, I had a fire in my belly and I knew I was supposed to do more. I didn't know how, and I didn't know what. So I really did take what he said with a grain of salt. But when you hear it from your family, because they really don't understand or know what to do with you, and you hear it from so many people, I was told, you'll never make it. Do something that you can be successful at was a statement to me. And it was like, you're never going to be able to do this. Don't think about doing things you can't do, like running events and speaking on stage and having this big, your own business and stuff. It's, just stay safe. And I'm sure many of us have heard that in different arenas and in different approaches. Oh, don't do that. Stick with what you know. Regardless of whether you have a learning challenge or not, we get that feedback from other people's fears. And that's exactly what it is. It's other people's fears. And so they want to try to keep you safe, or so they think, right? It's all a mindset. And you and I talked a little bit about that, because it is, and what I do, 95% of your subconscious is how you communicate, what you communicate, and how you react to communication that comes at you.
Yeah.
And it's 3 to 5% that you're conscious of. So it's kind of interesting how much our subconscious impacts everything that we do in life. And this is huge in communication, leadership, deciding where you want to go, being able to think big. It does affect us in all ways. And what I realized was, all through school, nobody really understood how I learned. And so if I were to describe it to you, the average person learns like this, which is like a straight line. And someone with a learning challenge learns like this, which is very kind of, a windy road. But the important part is understanding for that individual what that windy road is, and helping them learn or receive information in that manner so that it sticks. So interestingly enough, I left high school with, D's. If I was lucky, I had a C. So I never anticipated being able to go to college and university. And a big part of that story was I was very blessed. And it's funny, if you look back in your past, there was always somebody who believed in you. It's not necessarily who we think it should be, but there's always somebody there. And mine was Miss Hamwood, who was a counselor at the high school I was in. And she changed my life. She actually saved my life, if I want to be very blunt about it. She said, "You're going to college." And I said, "I don't have the grades. I can't get into college. I'm not smart enough." She goes, "I don't want to hear that about you. We're going on a road trip." So she drove me up to Centennial College, Warden Woods campus, and introduced me to, I will never, I'm not good with names, but I will never forget these names. Trevor Massey, who is the registrar of Centennial Warden Woods, and said to him, "You need to register in school." And I'm thinking, yeah, whatever, it's not going to happen. He goes, "Okay, no problem, it's done." And I went, oh my God, I was like, what the heck just happened here? And I was still in shock. And she walked me over to the counseling department. And the head of the department was Dave Robertson. And he had studied and learned about learning challenges and how to support individual students on how to be able to shift the way they receive information and the way they look at things. And again, he changed my world. Because of him, I started to realize what my true potentials were. So I still went for the first year in school, and literally I got D's again because they wanted me to upgrade my stuff. And
Yeah.
the interesting thing was, what happened was I decided I wanted to do early childhood education because I loved working with children. And he said to me, "Well, don't worry about your grades. Go talk to the director." And I went, "Okay, well, I'm really good at talking. I'm really good at speaking." So I walked up to Carolyn Warburg and asked for an appointment, got an appointment. I spoke to her, and with a D average, she let me into her course. That
Oh,
was full. And
wow.
the first time in my life I graduated as an A student, because I really, with the support of Dave, I started to understand how my brain was working and what I needed to do to get to the level I wanted to be at. And because of him and through that, I started speaking and sharing. That was my beginning, 19 years old, of starting to speak. And I always had dreams of speaking on stage. I just never knew what it was, and not thinking it was possible. Never went anywhere with it, but he brought me to stages in schools to speak to students, parents, and teachers, because parents were like, "What do I do with my kids?" It's like they felt like this was the end of it. There was no solution for them. And when they met me, they were like, "Oh my God, my kid has a chance in life," right? Because it was such a lack of understanding during that time. So I decided to go on to university and did my psychology degree. I also then did road trips with Mark, who was the head of the counseling department at York University, again, speaking. And the first time I thought it was going to be 20 people, and I walked in and there's 300 people in the room. I think my organs started to rattle because it scared me, right? At 20 years old, I didn't know what I was doing, but I spoke, and there was a lineup of people wanting to talk to me. And I realized this is what I was meant to do. I just didn't know how again. I went on to do mediation. I went on to do so much more in my life. I even helped in Centennial College actually develop their entire system and develop their resource center so that other students would be able to access, college and university. and
Yeah.
helped build them up with what I felt was the challenge for me. I was able to help them understand what they needed to have in place. And so to me, that was such a big win for me to be able to do that, because and I don't care who knows, but it was really, I had an opportunity to lay a platform for other people that were going through what I was going through and
Yeah.
help them overcome their diversity and realize that anything is possible. And this is what I say all the time, because, and I believe it because I've been through it. Anything is possible.
Yeah.
You know, when somebody tells you it isn't, I mean, unless you're saying that I'm going to walk out the door and make $1 million tomorrow, if you win the lottery, you can, for sure. So anything is possible, kind of, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, it is all within
Right.
relativity
Yeah.
of what it is that you're doing and what you're experiencing. But all of that really taught me that I had such a high endurance and capability to push through things, to move forward, to look at a situation and find a solution. Now, keep in mind, you know, I tell people I still go through character building days, and I call them that. And
Yeah.
it's funny because I think I'm going to get quoted for that on a regular basis. My clients and my constantly use that term with other people now. And character building just means I don't believe in bad days. I believe in days that actually really build your character. And that's just my personal opinion, right? And I've had some doozies, let me tell you. We're not even going to go in that section yet. But you know, I've definitely had doozy days where I just felt like I'm done. It's over. I have nothing left to do. And somehow something always pops up. I get a call, I get a message, something shows up to remind me why I'm doing what I'm doing, and why that character building day is just a learning opportunity for me to figure out what it is I need to do next, or how I need to pivot or change what it is I'm doing to make myself happier, to make a situation better. And I think everything is an opportunity. And so for me, the story I have is that, you know, after being told all my life that I wasn't going to amount to anything and that I wasn't good enough, that's the message I received anyway. And having that stuck in my head, that has lived with me. And by the way, when you have that feeling, it doesn't ever go away.
Yeah.
It sticks with you. And the
Yeah.
reason it does is because it's part of you. But if you can turn that story in the back of your head, change the story on what it is, which is what I do with my clients. We change stories. And it doesn't mean that that story stops existing, but we change how it's going to be thought about, felt about, talked about moving forward. And that in itself will cause huge impact for your ability to move things forward, to change, to shift, to start believing in yourself. And it took a while for me, I'll be honest, and it still pops up. Here's the difference with people that are doing very well and those who are working towards it. We have learned to get over our stuff faster
Yeah.
and to basically go, oh, sorry, I don't have time for you. You're gone.
Yeah.
And it takes time to get there, right, Whitney? It's not
Yeah.
something that happens overnight. It's a process. You know, some days I have to say to myself, it's all good. It's all going to work out. Don't worry. The solution's coming. Keep going. Take your action steps. It's all going to work out. And sure enough, every single time it works out. But I still have days I have to remind myself of that, because here's the deal. At the end of the day, we're all human. And as being a human being, we aren't perfect and not everything is infallible. We do have emotion, especially if we're having a character building day and something like that pops up. It's going to impact us harder than it normally does. That just means, hey guys, you're normal. That's what it
Yeah.
really means at the end of the day. And so that diversity in my life at the time, I felt like this is it, it's over. But what it taught me and where it brought me to what I'm capable of doing today, I'm grateful for. I'm
Oh,
grateful for every
absolutely.
moment, every situation, every conversation, because it helped me be who I am today and help those that I work with on a much higher level than I ever anticipated possible.
Absolutely, because that adversity that you experienced, I've always said if you look behind the door of every successful person, there's a story. You know, we haven't lived a white picket fence. Some of us are attention deficit. Some of us are dyslexic. Some of us there's some people are on the spectrum. I know I have some incredibly wealthy clients that there's stuff going on. But so it's not a bad thing. It's just that I love what you said about people, learning straight, and then those that are learning this way, and how we learn. And so this adversity that you've experienced, you've really been able to align yourself, and you're really able to help other people because you know it, like you can empathize because you live this way. And that they always say, like, if people like it, if I just use ADD because that's a really popular one, they always say attention deficit person is either going to become very successful or they're going to go and get themselves in trouble. And I know as a pilot, we always say we do get young people in training that have ADD, and I forget the other one. There's another very common disorder that a lot of children have today. But what they find is when they put them behind the yoke and they get them flying, they zero in and they can fly that airplane really, really good.
Yeah.
So yeah. So tell us about, so from coming from that adversity, how have you aligned your life today? You've obviously applied that into a business.
Well, yeah, and it didn't come right away either. There was a lot of things because there was a lot of uncertainty for me. I realized after I did my psychology degree, I wanted more. I didn't just want to go into psychology. I found it, and I actually almost went to do social work. And if there's any social workers out there, I highly respect you with what I'm about to say. But the reality for me was there is a very set way of thinking at that time when I took the courses. And I don't believe in that. I believe that each person has, as much as there's a foundation to what we do, each person has their own challenges, and there needs to be a little bit of a customized approach to each individual. Where none of us are the same. We all have different experiences, and when you combine that with whatever our challenges are, you really need to understand who that person is, what's going on for them, and how to approach them. And in social work at that time, when I took it, there was a standard way of thinking and approaching things. And I could not wrap my brain around it. I just couldn't. So after a year of taking the courses, I dropped out. I just said, because if you didn't do an assignment as well, the exact way they wanted it to do, in the voice they wanted you to do it in, it was actually wrong. And I couldn't do it. I just like, I can't do this. Well, actually, I should change that. I chose not to because it didn't feel right to me. And, I'm grateful for those who are out there doing that position. It just wasn't for me. And that was a huge lesson for me at that moment too, because every single thing I did, and I didn't realize it at the time I was doing it, led me up to what I do today. From working in corporate, one of the top photographers in Toronto, getting introduced to really high-end people at a really young age, working in the medical industry, working in the direct marketing industry, becoming a top income earner, helping other people, training other people how to speak, how to do sales, how to do all of these things. At the time was just like I was doing what I needed to do, including running my own conference for 5 years and bringing successful entrepreneurial women who started their small businesses in their basements and turned them into multi-million-dollar corporations. All of that I started to realize because it was after the event. I said, okay, great. I'm giving them all this knowledge. I'm giving them this motivation and excitement, and they're realizing possibility is there for them. Now what? And I was already doing some coaching on the side and not charging to support people in getting where they wanted to go. And a colleague of mine said, Carolyn, you need to charge for this. You're really good.
Yeah.
And I started to think about it. I went, maybe I should. And so that was my first approach to hiring a coach as well at that time, because I knew I didn't have all the answers. And I needed some help on how to set that up properly and how to then, really kind of create a message that people would hear what I was trying to say. Even what to charge, what my package was, all those things. I wasn't sure what to do. And I did, and I put that, plaque on my door, and I never turned back. And I love what I do. And I've built and grown from there to building up, you and I talked a little bit about this, but it takes time, but you have to also build up support systems. So it's not just ever 100% me. I have over the last, 6-7 years collected, and it sounds so funny when I say that, collected, but I have 5 multi-million-dollar mentors that I can contact on their cell phone and chat with them about challenges, or if there's something I need from my client that I don't know how to get or where to approach it or who's the best person, I can call any of these people or message them and get information from them. And, I have my own little friend group as well that are all doing similar type things to me, that we support each other and have conversations, as well as I also have my own coach, because I'm looking to grow and expand and know I can't do it all myself. And I think that was one of the biggest lessons, Whitney, for me, was I can't do it all myself and I don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
Because I think as atypical individuals, we tend to think we're supposed to. And I know a lot of clients like that I've had, but it's really I think you're much more powerful, and I learned this the hard way, but you're much more powerful when you realize you don't know everything and you bring in the right people to support you and build that team, whether it's a team that you pay a salary to or a team you pay by project. And really understanding what I call your superpower is. And my superpower, I realized, was to talk to people, listen to them, and be able to identify where their heart laid, what they wanted to do, and see 30 steps ahead of where they could go with this, like
Yeah.
that. And when I focused on that and let other people take on the other stuff I didn't want to do, wow, did my business grow and excel. So really, I was
That's
able to take all of that and turn it into massive possibility and growth.
that's a huge talent, and I know for myself, I'm the same way. I'm surrounded by business owners, successful people, and there's one thing that I realize that we all have in common is that we have a significant amount of ideas entering into our minds on a regular basis,
Yep.
and we need people around us to catch those because we're quick starts
Yep.
and so I'm the same as you. I always have a coach. I've spent a lot of money on coaching over the years, and I highly recommend coaching and mentorship always. You want to get ahead. You're right. We don't have all the answers, and we can always be better. But some of these ideas that we formulate are absolutely incredible, and your
Yeah.
coach catches them, or people catch them, your staff catch them, and then they get implemented. And it's the way we are. It's the way we're designed. So, and I like what it is with you because you can catch those ideas, but you also understand what's going on in the mind of your business owner. For me, when I'm working with my business owner clients, I totally get it. So they're so easy for me to work with because I know exactly what it is that they need, and that they have trouble getting this stuff out, or they got too many balls in the air, whatever. They know how to make money.
Yeah, but they're just like this constantly
Yeah.
sometimes, right? And they need
The
somebody to
more,
kind of grab one of those
yeah,
balls and say, okay, here's what we can do with this. Because sometimes
yeah,
it's you have the idea, but it's really you're not sure what to do with it or how to implement it
exactly.
or how to get it started
How to
and
get it
create that
rolled, how to get it rolled
foundation.
out. Yeah,
Right.
how to get it rolled out. But
Yeah.
we live in a monetary system, and so
Hmm.
there always will, because people always ask me, is that stock market ever going to crash and kill us all? It's like, no, it's not, because what happens is when this one closes, another one opens, another business opens, another business opens. This thing will go on long after we're dead, our kids are dead, and our grandchildren are dead, because it's the
Yeah.
world that we live in. Because there are certain people that have terrific ideas that are able to get out there and get a business going. And so for you, somebody like you, you're that idea collector and you help people roll that out. So tell us about your business and your service.
Well, one of the things that coaching taught me was that and after coaching for several years, I started to realize that there was one thing that occurred with every single person that I coached and every person I talked to, and business owners, and that had to do with vision. Now, they either had a vision and it needed to be expanded, or they didn't have a vision and it needed to be created, or they had a vision, completed it, and got stuck and needed to create a new one and wasn't sure what to do next, like how to upscale, or right. So what I did was transition my business into talking about vision, because it is the key essential thing in every aspect of your business. Because if you don't have your vision big enough, it's not strong enough, or it's not set up the way it needs to be for you, you're not going to realize it, but something's going to be missing that's going to hold you back. And you don't know what that feeling is. And that's what my job is too, is like, I catch that. But then if you don't have that set up properly, it's hard to make the plan. It's hard to figure out who your target market is. It's hard to market, because
Yeah.
a good marketer, the first thing they're going to ask you is, what's your vision? Who's your target market? And where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years so we can market you? Right? So if you don't have that answer, you're wasting your money on marketing. I've had so many people come to me and their next step was to market. And I said, wait, hold off on that appointment. Postpone it till after our session. And after our session, they went, oh my God, I totally get it now.
Yeah.
Went to the marketer, actually told them what we planned. And the funny thing is, I know who the marketer was, said to me, oh my God, you must have worked with Caroyln. I love clients from Caroyln because it's so much easier to work with you.
Yeah.
And so what I did was I started to build my business around that. I do all the other things as well. But even if you have a big, powerful vision as a coach, I need to know what it is.
Yeah.
or I can't help you do all the other things that need to be done. So that's highly important for me to do. So when I created my packages, I created them with, we start with knowing what the vision is. And then we build from there and whatever else you need to do. And some people come with very specific things they need to work on. Other people aren't sure. So I get quite the diverse group of clients. So when I created my foundation, there's a basic foundation I go with. But as I work with people, how we do things is a little bit customized to the individual. So I do have, like, if I had to follow it to a key, I could. But I've learned that when I work with people, it has to sometimes shift depending where they're at. Because sometimes I have to do some mindset stuff for them
Yeah.
to be able to even talk about their vision or build a vision because they're stuck on something. So for them to have the success that I know they're capable of, I have to help them work through that. And it doesn't actually take a long time. Sometimes, again, it's shifting that story. It's somebody actually recognizing what is blocking them and pointing it out to them and going, oh my God, I didn't realize that. And being able to then shift that around a little bit, we can then move forward. And so what I did was I created a couple different packages, and one of them is the Elite VIP package. And I'm the type of person, I have to create packages that can be complete. I don't mind upselling you and stuff, but I have to be able to leave you with something if that's all you choose to
Yeah.
have the kind of success that you're looking for.
Yeah.
And so the Elite VIP program is a 5-hour session with me, whether it's in person when we have that opportunity or on virtual. I've done them with clients in Dubai, in the United States. They work just as well. And we really do pull everything out of you, whatever it is you're working on. Even if you're just like, I just need to build a team, then that's what we spend the time on. And there's so many components. I break it down into small bite-sized pieces so that we can pull all of that information out, what it is you want, and truly come up with a solid plan and solution after that 5 hours. And then you have 3 months of coaching with me, because a lot happens in that day. We all have questions and things, we forget things. So I realized that that really did complete the package to make sure that I supported people in creating a really powerful package of whatever it is they were doing. So that's one. And then
Yeah.
I have a year program. So if you want to work with me for an entire year, which often a lot of people after the Elite VIP sign up for the year program because they want to help implement everything we created, is you get coaching calls every month, as well as 2 VIP sessions and emergency calls and email support and lots of great things that really do support you building your business. And when I created them as what would I want? What would I want to be able to do? And we have online programs because we also have those individuals who want to do it on their own. And I think that's great. I'm not that person, but I created a very detailed program that is exactly what I do in my Elite program for my clients online with 12 modules. Each one's anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes, and you can go through them. You have lifetime access, and I take you through vision, purpose, like everything I would do with you in person, you now have online, and each module has steps for you to take, homework for you to do, and complete detailed manual for you to walk through as well. So you can, and examples, I love examples and templates and checklists, they're all in there. Everything you would need or I would do with you is in there. And so that became, you know, that other alternative for those who maybe couldn't afford to hire a coach right now or just like to do it on their own. I wanted to create an option for that. And then the next thing, and by the way, that program too, whether it doesn't matter what stage you're at, it still works. Honestly, I created it so it can work for everyone. And the one I just created, we had to do a lot of fun, which is what you talked about, the life success board systems.
Yeah.
You know, we've been through so much lately, um, so much shifting, change, emotional upheaval. I wanted to be able to do some work and have some fun. And I remember somebody said to me, you should do vision boards. And I'm like, I don't like vision boards. I don't want to do vision boards. And that was my experience because, you know, we went and had these little parties and had a glass of wine and we cut out these pictures and put them on a board. And for some people, that's great. It just didn't work for me because I don't think the pictures had an impact or a real meaning for me. And I need to have something mean something to me. So what I did was I took that system and I made bigger impact with it. So what we've done is created where I take a portion of what I do when I'm helping somebody with their vision and turned it into a workbook and really helps ask you the questions to dig a little deeper and show you how to create that list for your vision. Whether it's a team, your finances, whether it's your career, whether it's travel, whether it's business, finances, health and wellness, there's a board for everything in there, including for your kids. And what it does is take you step by step of the things you can do. And then we've hooked you up with Canva templates so that you can actually put pictures in. So let's say, for example, for me, I wanted to take a walk every day with my kids and the dog. So I put a picture of me and the dog and the kids on there. Well, that's going to make more impact than some stranger with some dogs, right? So that's what I mean by being able to pull from your personal pictures. And if not, Canva has pictures as well as from the internet. So I really wanted to give people the possibility to do it in whatever way they wanted. And they're designed by a graphic designer, so you can print them off and put them on a board, or you can print off the template and get pictures and put them on there as well. But we really just wanted to create a system that you could approach it in any way that was going to make you happy and have fun with, and really enjoy the process. And you can do it with friends virtually. Actually, funny enough, it turned into having success board parties, which I run now till the end of February. And we've had a great time because now you have me for 2 hours once you buy the program. And put a group of 10 people together. I will come on and take you over a 2-hour period and walk you through your first success board, where you can ask me questions. You can ask me how to approach something. I'm literally at your beck and call for 2 hours to give you information, because I truly believe this should be in the hands of everybody. And you have lifetime access, so you can go back and change, which you should be doing anyway, and reviewing it and updating it. And you can continue to do this and build. And now what I think we really need, Whitney, is that bullseye, that we can actually see that visual, that when we have that character building day, we still have something that we can focus on and go, that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm going to get through this day, regardless of what happens, because that's where I'm going, and that was really the goal of creating all this.
And the thing too, there's a lot of takeaways. In the subconscious mind, when you said that you could see yourself speaking on stage one day at a very young age. And the thing is that, so I hugely believe in that, because all of my little thoughts that I had, 40, 50 years ago, whatever, like those things have come true. And so so some people could say, oh, pooey on, some vision board work. You've taken it a lot deeper, but it's having those subconscious thoughts, like you said, like 95% is coming from the subconscious, which is the engine, which is driving us, that I'm going to keep going, because I have my eye on the ball. And, and so, things can try to distract me. That's fine, because that's what days are about. They're very distracting, but as long as you have your eye on the ball, you're going to get there. So I've written a couple things down while you were talking. You really offer some good value here. But the thing that I like is that you're offering an impact, like you're actually offering something that can be implemented. And so for me, for doing coaching being coached over the years, I always have a coach. I push now for implementation, because I don't want to just have talks, and I want to actually implement what we're talking about. And we can always grow, we can always be better. A lot of people can relate to coaches with somebody in sports, always trying to get better at your sport. So in business, we're always trying to get better at our game. We're always trying to move faster, get the message out, make more money, be more effective. And if you're not thinking like that, so for people who are watching, if you're not thinking like that, start. Okay. Because that's what it takes to be successful. You're not going to be successful, by grunt and grind. There has to be strategic thinking, and there has to be a vision of where you're going. And once you get to that vision, you're going to keep expanding that. If your business isn't expanding, you're dead.
Yep.
And that's what business is about. It's not about flatlining and, I just made it, and I fed my kids and I paid my mortgage. It's not about that. It's about building, and it's about getting better and giving better service and servicing your clients for decades, not selling an item and disappearing. Or what did you say? I love what you said. Was it barf and run or something?
A lot of times what happens in the direct market, when I worked in the direct marketing industry for almost 20 years, back in the day, what happened was we would tell people, stop throwing up on other people. And that's what people will do sometimes, is that, you know, they'll see an opportunity to sell you and like, oh my God, this is the best product ever. And actually a friend of mine gave me this example and I think it's beautiful. You know, imagine somebody walking down the street and you know, somebody walks up to them, oh my God, they have walking their dog. You have to try this dog food. It's amazing. Your dog's coat will be better. It'll be shinier. They'll be healthier. They'll get all their vitamins and the nutrients, and they'll have like all these great things for your dog. Here's the problem. They forgot to ask if the person had a dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't find out what a person's problem is and you try to solve it, they're not going to want to talk to you. You have to understand what their challenge is.
And they're not going to stay in business.
No,
that's
they're not.
That's what keep you in business. I mean, I have people trying to sell me all sorts of vitamins, this and weight loss, that, and it's like, oh, have you seen me?
Yeah, that's another thing about the weight loss thing. I'm like, do I look fat? Like, and I don't even mean that. Sorry, that came across. But do I look like I need to lose weight? Because if you're very slim and somebody comes up to you with a weight loss product, it doesn't make any sense. But first of all, you need to be careful, because if somebody did need to lose weight and you approach them and maybe they're comfortable in their body, maybe they don't, for who they are, need to lose weight, and you're going to walk up to them and say, I have this weight loss program for you. I'm sorry, but I'm going to be offended. It doesn't matter who we are. But you could say, hey, listen, what do you do for your health? Do you do anything? Is there anything you're looking to change or improve upon? And if they say yes, say, you know what, we have some great products. I'd love to introduce you to them if that's something you're open to. One of the things,
find the pain point, you know,
what's really up for them. Maybe that's not an issue for them right now. Maybe the fact is they need to build their business better, and they could be like somebody who sells the product. You have to ask questions. And I always say this, the person in power is the person asking the questions. People love to talk about themselves. If you ask the right questions, you'll get all the information you require in which to identify first, does what you have suit them? If not, and you like this person, refer somebody to them. I'll tell you why. This is hugely important. And this is what I get all the time. Because I don't try to push somebody into something, including coaching clients, if we're not a good fit, I'm going to send you back in, or I'll refer you to someone else, because I don't want to drag people. And if you're not ready for me, and I'm a certain kind of coach, I'm going to find you someone that's going to be good for you, or I'm going to find a product or a service or my online program, if it makes sense for you to do. And so when you do that, they respect you highly, that they actually refer people to you later on. So you have to think about every person you meet may not be a right now, but they might be a later. Yeah. And if they're going to be a later, you better treat them with a huge amount of respect up front. Yeah. Because otherwise,
not everyone's ready. Not everyone's ready. I can tell you that when I hired my first coach, I think I was I'm going to guess that I was maybe 7 years in the business. And so I had my eye on the ball, because I can't remember what the cost was. Like, this was just going back 25 years ago. I think it was $7,500. Yeah, about $7,500 a year to coach. And I remember thinking that I'm going to get that coach. Everyone's got that coach, but I'm going to wait until I'm ready. And I'm going to wait until, I can't remember. I wanted to get up to about $500,000 a year of revenue before I started spending that kind of money, because I knew what I was doing, but I wanted to be at the right time to get in there. And it's kind of interesting, because I grew with him and grew with all sorts of others. But this is not about me; it's about you. So tell us, what's next? What's next on the horizon for you?
Well, the thing that we're doing right now is pushing out is the success board system. Again, the thing about it is the value of this success board system and what I put into it and the amount of detail and what you get is worth about $709. But I wanted to make sure that everybody had it in their hands or had the capability to get it. So the charge for the entire program, which is 8 modules, there's like 3 or 4 bonuses. There is a workbook for each individual one, lifetime access, including the templates and the Canva templates. And a lot of the examples in there are mine. So you get to see how I do things. And so all of that is $37 US. So our ultimate goal this year and next year is really to get that out for people, because it's something that's affordable. It's something that will really help you move your thinking forward for next year, which is huge. Because listen, regardless of what's going on right now, this is going to eventually end. So don't stop what you're doing. You need to stay in action. trust me on this, want to keep you motivated. Sometimes it's small steps that you need to take. Sometimes it's big steps that you need to take. Some people's businesses are doing very well. But the reality is you still need to kind of plan and be willing to make a change when it needs to happen, willing to revisit what your vision is. Like, for example, these online programs wasn't what I was about to do now. I was focusing because I do corporate a lot. And before COVID hit, I had 6 speaking gigs planned, and they all got canceled, and training things because of COVID, because nobody knew what to do. So I went into my big vision, pulled out the courses and said, okay, I'm going to do this now. And so I focused on that while I have my coaching clients, and really decided to launch that area. So kind of what we're doing right now is focusing on that and focusing on the Elite VIP program, so that if people are stuck, I can help them in a short period of time kind of pull things together and have a different look. And the goal too is I teach you how to review your vision. I teach you how to set up that accountability plan for yourself. And we have one of those. So you have an accountability plan that also monitors you, or allow you to monitor yourself as you go to see the kind of success that you're having and what you need to do to shift and change things. Because when you walk away from me, I want you to have the solutions. I don't want you to depend on me for the rest of your life. That's not what a real coach does, in my eyes anyway. But if you need me, I'm still there. If you want to continue working with me, I'm still there. But that's your decision, and we'll talk about that as we go. So it really is about helping people move forward for 2021 is my goal.
I love it. I love it. So, for people watching, because we do have a lot of replay. In fact, hundreds and hundreds of replay on these modules.
That's awesome.
I highly recommend take it from people that are successful. Like Carolyn is successful. She's not, she walks the walk, she talks the talk. She's like me. So we're established and we've been around for a while. So connect. And one other thing we can chat about later, but we maybe want to do like maybe a mini workshop with Wallet to Wealth, because I know a lot of women will be interested, and there was a lot of feedback on posting. So we'll chat about that.
Happy to do that anytime. Can I do a quick offer, Whitney? Because I know we're probably
absolutely yes.
So I want to do a quickie for all of you. Listen, go to my website. I'm offering each of you a complimentary discovery session with me, which is 30 minutes. And if you go on the website, it'll link you right to the discovery session or to my calendar, and you can book a time that works for you to chat with me for 30 minutes. And what I do is I help kind of pull out what's going on with you, give you some tips. And if you decide you want to work with me or decide you want to do one of my programs, you can. And, listen, take the opportunity if it's free. So it really does give us an idea too, whether we're meant to work together. Well, trust me, I'll be able to know within 30 minutes if we're meant to work together, and what the solution could be. So take advantage of that. Go to my website. There's I think on every single page, a click to book an appointment with me. And if that's something you want to do, I'm happy to be there.
That's awesome. Okay, well, thank you very much for being with us today. You gave a ton of information. You gave incredible background where you've come from. So you understand how to work with all minds. You have that psychology background, and you also have a few decades of success under your belt. So you definitely have my vote. And I'll just give you the last sentence, and we'll close off.
Sorry?
I'll give you the last sentence, and
the last sentence?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Listen, guys, here's what I tell you. I want you to have the success that you deserve, and you deserve it. So go after it. And really what you need to do for yourself is take a step back and really look at what is it you want to do. I know everybody else has the voice in your ear and you're thinking about your kids or your family or your situation, but truly look at what you want to do, because when you find that out and you drive that and you communicate that clearly to people, the people that you need will show up, and everything in the how will work out and show up for you. I promise, I guarantee it. I've seen it happen. I've had clients go from a 3-year plan and accomplish it in half the time because they were focused on what they were doing and were able to communicate clearly where it is they were going. So if that's anything I can leave you with, go after that and believe in yourself, because anything is truly possible.
Hear, hear. I agree. Okay, we'll talk again soon, and thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.